Today we're used to the comfort of travel. It's not always been that way, and one of our past national presidents, Harvey Newell, returning from a trip to a chapter, was killed in a plane wreck. His family have dedicated this room to his memory and also to the service of the whole fraternity world. Our library, the Harvey Newell Memorial Library, has in it a variety of books that have been published by Pi Ka, such things as bound issues of our fraternity magazine, which is published quarterly and has been published quarterly since the 1890s, and also of other works that have been written by, about the fraternity, including histories and things like that. It also contains books about colleges and universities and about other fraternities, and books that have been written by Pi Ka's over time. So it's a very specialized library, but it only gives you a small hint of the fact that in the archives are the correspondence of these thousands and thousands of young men who have helped build and work for Pi Ka, for their country, for their universities, for all of their civic organizations, while at the same time have gone on and served in the world in a variety of ways. Their hopes, dreams, and letters from their college experiences are all carefully cataloged, arranged by their school that they came from by decades, so that they are accessible for those who wish to research. But of course, like everything else, they are paper, and paper does deteriorate, and so it's really not out for public view, but it's available for real researchers who are trying to find out things about college life. I estimate that there are approximately 2 million sheets of paper down there written by college students from 1868 to 2007. We also exchange magazines, quarterlies, and other publications with colleges, universities, and other fraternities from around the country. Now, when I use the word fraternity, you think I'm saying men's groups, but I'm not. Fraternity is the real name for all the women's groups and men's groups in the Greek letter movement. And this is an example of the sorts of things that we get from them. This comes from the AE Phi sorority. AE Phi is a very large, fine sorority, and they are active with us on many college campuses. We also have those that come, the Eleusis, which comes from the Chi Omega fraternity, which is across the street from us, and from Kappa Delta, which is just around the corner. So we really are in a very privileged place that two women's fraternities, Kappa Delta and Chi Omega, have joined us here in Memphis, here to be part of this little Greek enclave in the middle of America. We're in now a special room for the fraternity. This is the Gold Star Memorial Room that really commemorates the men who have died for freedom around the world. On these walls are displayed beautiful medals that have been won in various theaters, gifts of alums. On the back wall, we see listed there the names of Pi Ka's who fought and died in the world wars and in Korea. We have had loss in Vietnam, and we have had loss in Iraq, and they will be added very soon to that. Or this medal these medals displayed here, which are really in honor of all the men who have fought who are Pi Ka's. For these are the service medals of every war in which a Pi Ka has fought, and you will notice that they are centered around the Purple Heart, because not all of them had the sorrow to die in battle or in combat, but many of them also suffered wounds, some of which followed them for the rest of their lives. And so this little part remembers them. And then in the back are some of the uniforms that have been worn by some of the men who have donated them themselves or whose families have donated them. And so when we go from one room to the next, We go from a room that enshrines all sorts of history of our fraternity and the service that men have rendered to it, and in some ways to the nation, leaders. But here we have a hall that is dedicated to all Pi KAs who have been grunts at one time or another.